Alan is very big on his flowers, and that is part of the beautification, which should be part of Old Town. But through us advancing with Main Street, it's going to open us up to more grants. And one of them right now that we can do is a downtown investment grant, but that includes something big such as restrooms. Okay. So we can, and like at the Hotel Collins Green Space, we can have restrooms built with this grant that the city would typically have to do. So, we all work together.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Sure
it takes a lot. So he can have his flowers and we'll help do this, so.
A great collaboration.
It is.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Value Proposition. Today's episode, Main Street Momentum. We're here today with some very special guests, with Mr. Kester Dingus, who's the Executive Director of Old Town Covington, Miss Lori Connor, who's the owner-operator of Barnwood Blessings, and Miss Terry McClung of the City of Covington, Small Business Coordinator. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's get started. Great to have y'all here, our second episode. We've started kind of with the congressman at the federal level, and we're taking it right to our hometown. So I want to start off with you, Kester, and talk a little bit about Old Town Covington and what it does for our community.
Well, Old Town Covington is primarily focused to concentrate on promoting economic development in the downtown area and some revitalization. That is our main charge on specifically downtown Covington, what is known as the historic district. There is a specific area that is accepted as the historic downtown Covington district.
Mm-hmm. And you had a recent big announcement with, regarding the status of Old Town Covington. Would you like to share that with everybody?
Old Town Covington has been an affiliate with Main Street America for 2025. Mm-hmm. We are in the process of doing a self-assessment, a self-evaluation, and we fully expect to become fully accredited by Main Street America in the next few months here. So that is a huge step to meet the accreditation standards by Main Street America.
So we have Miss Lori with us, who runs Barnwood Blessings, which has been extremely successful here on Main Street. We'd like to kind of share with everyone, what's been your recipe for success?
Number one, first and foremost, is the support of Miss Terry, who I went and actually talked with her when she was at the Economic Development Commission before we ever looked at renting a building in downtown. So she's been instrumental and very supportive. Kester coming along has also, tried to help us do the best that we can, and our customer support has been great. Yeah. Despite the failing economy here locally, it's been a little bit of a struggle this year, but things are good and they're looking up.
Well, failing is kind of a hard word. I think we do have some economic challenges, but I think things are looking better. Oh, and I think that's kind of the objective is, bringing more business to Main Street, bringing more businesses to the city of Covington.
Yes.
And how do we do that? And that's kind of the role that you fulfilled. Terry, could you tell us a little bit about your role as the small business coordinator?
Well, I keep an inventory of all the buildings downtown, those that are occupied, non-occupied. And when I have someone approach me about starting a business, we sit down and talk. Mm-hmm. And at that point, everything is confidential until they make the decision to speak about it. Mm-hmm. I let them know of the available buildings. I work with them, give them a booklet that tells them how to do a business plan, because that's going to be one of the first questions they are asked if they go to a bank asking for money or even just anything moving forward. So I help them prepare a business plan if they need it. Most of it they have to do themselves because they know what they want to do. And, I can't help them at that point. I can just help them review it and give them pointers.
Sure. How does the city and Old Town Covington interact with each other? Like, what's the relationship that allows, it's kind of symbiotic, right? The city has its structure and you have the organization. I mean, how does it work together?
Well, I'm a board member of Old Town. And of course, I'm an employee of the city of Covington. So every 2 weeks, I have a biweekly meeting with the city manager as well as other department heads. And we give updates on everything we're doing. And so I'm able to update him on everything Old Town's doing. And then through Old Town, we have what we call consent agendas, which we fill out and they're sent in before our meetings, so everybody is aware of what everyone is doing. And if there's any questions, it doesn't hold up a meeting.
Right.
They're already aware of everything. So everything that I report to the city manager also goes into the consent agenda to Old Town. So everybody's fully aware of everything that we're doing and what's going on.
Sure. Kester, you took over as executive director 6 months ago.
July 1st.
Yeah, so it's been really recent. How do you're new to the job, and how do you feel, how does this relationship work together from the Old Town Covington side? From the Old Town Covington side.
Well, Old Town Covington has full support of the city, which we are most appreciative of, have an outstanding relationship with the city council and the city manager. I, too, meet with him every couple of weeks just to run things by him and talk about different events or different things that Old Town can assist with or be involved with, such as some funding issues and some things like that. So it's a very open relationship, very supportive relationship by the city. And again, Old Town is very much appreciative of that type of relationship. Terry and I work together on various projects and different events and different things that we have coming up within the city that, downtown, that Old Town is either heading up or working on, needs her expertise or needs some input from the city side. So it's an outstanding combination and benefits all the downtown businesses and very beneficial overall.
Thank you. Lori, as a business owner, and I'm a small business owner, Scott's a small business owner. What were your challenges, starting your company, and what helped kind of overcome those challenges?
Just as we said earlier, just the don't quit mentality. I have a high drive and very motivated. I love to make beautiful things. And, there, of course, were, some hurdles that we had to overcome, but perseverance and a strong faith is in the forefront, for sure.
Good advice for
Lots
anybody.
of prayer.
Exactly. That's good advice for anybody that's trying to start a business, right? Having those kind of attributes.
You definitely can't wait for everything to fall into place. You have to just go for it and keep going for it, despite all the hurdles and, the naysayers and, but we've had humongous community support. We came out in November of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, and the community support was just overwhelming. And it continues to be, despite the economy sometimes.
Tell me about the gauntlet, right? Which is a a vehicle that helps fledgling pump businesses anchor themselves and grow. And you were a part of the gauntlet.
I did.
I want to ask you about it. Then I kind of want to ask Miss Terry to give her, from her perspective, the value of events or sessions like that to help.
Right. Well, it's definitely a huge opportunity to step out of your comfort zone, of course, and try to do something that would better your knowledge of running a business. There were many avenues opened in doing that and in being a participant. It was a lot of work. It opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know before. So it was a very huge learning process that helped propel us forward, I believe. We were one of the winners, and we were very, very appreciative of that.
Thanks for that answer. And,
Absolutely.
Ms. Terry, can you share with us kind of how the gauntlet, how does that help you businesses from your perspective get started here, not only on Main Street, but across, the city and the county, really?
The Gauntlet is a 10-week virtual class, and there are topics such as financing, marketing. So whenever someone approaches me about starting a business, it's one of the first things I try to do is talk them into doing this program. If for nothing else, the networking that takes place during this 10 weeks, it's huge. And some people have scored very low through going through the program, but talk very highly of all the people that they met. You never know who you're going to meet.
Right.
There may be some issues you're having, and that person is going to most likely be there. They have to prepare a business plan. They're graded on the business plan. They're graded on attendance. The business plan scores they then go in front of folks from across the state that they have to do a 15-minute pitch about their business. And then they are graded and scored by whom, I don't know. I have no idea who does that. But I highly recommend anybody, even if you're expanding a business, starting up a business, or even thinking about doing a business, to go through this program.
When's the next one?
It should start. They haven't put the dates out yet. The last week in January, first week in February is when they normally start. And it's, like I said, it's 10 weeks. And it's very intense. Like I'll use finance for an example. Whoever teaches that class will sometimes do one or two other during that week. And so what you put into that is what you're going to get out of it.
Sure. So if you're a small business owner and you'd like to participate in the gauntlet, reach out to Miss Terry, right?
Absolutely.
And
There is a fee, and I do not know the fee because you have to go in, put your application, and I'm not even sure what the fee is this year. I meant to ask. We had a little networking last night at Jack Mason's Tavern in Clifton, just some business leaders there, just trying to gear up, and there'll be a few more. There's one in Buena Vista first week in December, and I think one at VMI like the second week in December. But I encourage any entrepreneurial that want to do this program to attend those networking.
it's great advice.
And they do have them on the website. I looked this morning. The dates are on there for these networking classes. However, they haven't updated some of the gauntlet information for 2026 yet.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Right. I want to go back to Kester. I want to ask you, we had a chance to chat a few weeks ago, and one of the things that you brought up was some new grants for facade improvements on Main Street. Can you share with that with everyone, tell me what that is and how that's going to help us here?
Well, through Main Street America and Virginia Main Street both opens up some opportunities for grants. The one that was out late summer was backed by American Express, called Backing Small Businesses. And part of Old Town's job is to try to get that word out to the business owners, which we did. That one had a very short turnaround time, was about 2 weeks from time it was announced until the deadline had to be turned in. So Old Town put together a little package of the information, the questions that's normally asked and the requirements of the grant and that sort of thing. We emailed that out to all the downtown businesses, and then I personally visited with several of the businesses. And out of that, we had 6 businesses that actually applied for that grant and made it, under the deadline and submitted everything that they had. We are waiting now to see if we have been fortunate enough to get anyone to receive that grant. That was backed by American Express. They was going to give away 400 grants, $10,000 each, and that was a nationwide grant. So it's very competitive, but we've got some of our businesses here in town in the running for it. So hopefully somebody will get it, and that would be a huge boost to some business in this area. There are another different ones. T-Mobile is another one that funds grants and so forth, as well as the local foundations. People's Bank Foundation has grant opportunities. Of course, the Allegheny Foundation has grant opportunities. And some of those come out or announced by Main Street America or through Virginia Main Street. American Express has been very good to fund some small town grants, and they seem to like the small town high impact type grants. So they're one of the big ones that's out there right now. There will be another round probably late February, early March, somewhere in there. And once that grants are released, then we will release that information and work with the business owners and get that word out. Hey, here's some more grant opportunities. Get your applications in, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some money back to downtown Covington. So that's part of Old Town's job, is to keep that information flowing to the business owners and assist them finding the money on the grants and things like that.
Super. So we're getting close to the holidays. Soon, we have a big event coming up in December. Would you like to share any some insight into Old Town Christmas?
Old Town Christmas is going to be December the 6th, which is going to be here before we know it. We started this planning process actually July the 31st. We sent out an email to all the downtown businesses and asked them to join us for muffins and a meeting over at the regional library. And we had about 12 or 15 businesses come out, and we sat down, and instead of Old Town saying to the businesses, will you do this? We asked the businesses, what can you do? What is your ideas? And let them bring the ideas to us. So we kind of done it in a reverse fashion, and they actually come up with a lot of ideas, and they were the ones that put the program together. Old Town just kind of facilitated all that. And so in a nutshell, we have activities literally from one end of Main Street to the other, and then up Maple Avenue. And there are numerous businesses involved with that, things for the kids as well as things for the adults. With the holiday movie going to be shown, the Polar Express is going to be at 1:30 that day. That is a free showing. RC Theaters has been super to work with Old Town Covington. Everyone that wants to go to the movies, it is free. You also get a free small popcorn and a small drink. Seating is limited. There's a 151 seats, and that's all that's going to be there. The tickets are out now. You can either go by the theater itself and pick up your free ticket, or you can do it online. If you do it online, there is a small convenience fee that you would be charged, but the movie itself is free. So that's one of the big highlights. Santa Train is going to be in Garton Trucking parking lot. That is another local business. Callaway Enterprises is going to have that. That's going to be running all day for, there is a $5 charge for that per ride. Other events, gift wrapping, ornament making. Make Room Covington is going to do an ornament making session with the kids and then tie that back into the movie. They're doing a special canvas painting session for adults during the time that the movie is running. The movie will be chaperoned by the Jackson River Kiwanis Club. So mom and dad can drop their kids off at the movies, go right up the street to make room and enjoy a Christmas canvas painting session with Make Room Covington. A lot of the businesses are open their doors and are going to do different events and different things. For example, Mountain Rush is going to be open all day long that day. The Friendly Fork is doing old-fashioned garland making, like the old construction paper rings that we used to do as kids, stringing popcorn on the string for garland, all the old-fashioned, old-timey type things. And that is going to be, that one is sponsored by the Friendly Fork, as I said, but it's physically going to be in the Mountain Rush building just due to room constraints and that sort of thing. And then the City Cafe at the end of Maple Avenue has old-fashioned popcorn balls that they're going to be handing out to anybody that wants to do that. Then the parade will kick off at 6 o'clock. And during the parade, we have, I think it's 5 different businesses offering free hot chocolate. And they are, throughout the downtown and again, up Maple Avenue. Businesses have graciously said, yes, we will do that. Go by and get you a free hot chocolate and watch the parade. So it's an all-day event, literally from one end of town to the other, as well as numerous food trucks will be in town that day. Everything from hot dogs all the way to the Cousin's Maine lobster truck will be back. So all different price ranges, all different types of food. And again, they will be scattered up and down Main Street and up Maple Avenue. So should be a fun time. Just hope that it is pretty weather and does not rain. But all this planning has been done by the downtown businesses. Started July the 31st, and we met 2 days ago to go over the final plan to make sure we've got everything covered. The Christmas magazine that Old Town put out with the assistance of the Virginian Review, that is out among various businesses in town, and we will also have those available at the Old Town information tent that Saturday. And in that magazine, it has a schedule of events. It has a map that was drawn by one of the ladies at the Chamber of Commerce for Old Town. Has everything listed out, what's going on, the times and the locations that will match the numbers on the map. And then the businesses will actually have a candy cane sign in the window that has the number of that activity or whatever. And all those numbers match up. The candy cane signs in the window, the legend on the map, as well as the schedule of events. And we also will have Big Al with the radio station will be in town that day during live remotes, pretty much about all day. Old Town has got a number of gift certificates and gift cards that we're going to give away. We're going to draw every hour on the hour to give those out. So it should be a fun time all the way around. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of planning, a lot of work has went into this, and, hope to have a good crowd out and have a good time all day in the Christmas spirit, and then cap it off with the annual Christmas parade. We've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 registered already for the Christmas parade. And that is still open. Registration is still open. They go to our website. There's a simple form to fill out and get your group or club or what have you registered for the parade. I think we've gotten like 3 or 4 this morning before I left the office. Come up here, the parade registrations are still rolling in. So it's going to be a fun time all the way around. Just hope it don't rain.
Pray for
And Good News Church will have their annual bazaar from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. that day, and that's usually a pretty huge hit that gets things started
Absolutely.
off. The Shriners Donut Truck trailer will be in the parking lot out back where they're usually located. So it's going to be a big day downtown.
more than just a parade.
I think it's
Yeah.
something that can grow every year too,
Definitely.
with different ideas
And the other-
that pour in.
The other thing is the boys' home are going to have live Christmas trees and Christmas wreaths for sale at the farmers market facility. So again, from one end of town to the other, there's going to be something going on. Hot cider and hot coffee at the Love Park will be available for sale, and just various businesses, different events, and that sort of thing. So pick up one of the Christmas magazines. They've been distributed among a lot of businesses downtown, or you can see us at the information tent, be back in Mid-City Mall parking lot that day, pick up that, and register for some of the drawings and the giveaways.
So one of the questions I want to ask as a business owner, on Main Street, how do events like this, Halloween, car shows, how do those events benefit, the businesses that are located here on Main Street?
They absolutely do, in a great positive way. When we have the street scene here, we have visitors from out of town. We actually coordinate our fall open house with that street scene, so those people know they can come in. The wives come in and shop while the guys are outside with the cars, and things like this Old Town Christmas. It's just an all-day event, number one, to bring a family out. And then, of course, it helps businesses. The foot traffic is wonderful.
Sure.
We love to see it. And, we get visitors from the homestead on the weekends. They want to know what else is going on. So I think, here locally. So I think that the more that we do these types of things, the more foot traffic it brings, of course.
Yeah.
So
I think
very grateful.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Terry, one of the things I wanted to add is I think, from the city's perspective, they do a very good job. Alan, he is on the decorations. I mean, the Christmas decorations are already up. They put them up, I think, 2 days ago. But, that's that collaboration, I think, between the city, between Old Town, between the businesses, it kind of works together and everybody benefits. And I think, that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess from my perspective and asking your opinion, how does the city, how do they do all that? Well,
they have a big crew, so they get things done, and they have some assistance with like the sports complex and getting the twinkling trail lights up. But Alan is very big on his flowers, and that is part of the beautification, which should be part of Old Town. But through us advancing with Main Street, it's going to open us up to more grants. And one of them right now that we can do is a downtown investment grant, but that includes something big such as restrooms. Okay. So we can, and like at the Hotel Collins Green Space, we can have restrooms built with this grant that the city would typically have to do. So, it's we all work together.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Sure
It takes a lot. So he can have these flowers and we'll help do this, so.
Great collaboration.
It is. It really is. We have a great momentum going now, and we want to keep it going, and we're just going to try to do everything we can to continuously grow. We're going to make our event bigger next year for the Christmas parade that day. When we have our New Year's Eve for the first time event coming up.
That's right.
Yep. So that's going to be new, and we hope that'll be a blast.
We should come back, talk about that maybe in December, get a little, push on the New Year's Eve celebration. We have time. You guys have time. That'd be a great, I think a great episode.
And all these events that both Old Town and the City of Covington's Parks and Rec puts on, not only are they enjoyable for the people and for the community, but as Lori said, it brings a lot of people downtown to drive the business and to get them into the shops and to get people down here. And a lot of people may not know that, hey, this business is here. I didn't know that. But you get them downtown for something fun, expose them to what all we do have to offer. And then hopefully in return, that helps drive Lori's business and all the other businesses in town. So, we got to start it somewhere and a good way. Everybody likes to have fun. Everybody likes to eat good food, and you get them downtown enjoying that sort of thing. And then it just kind of trickles out from there and just drives the whole economic side of it downtown.
Sure.
Sustainable growth. It comes from everybody working together and being positive. And, just like when we started the planning for the Christmas Day, December 6th, and invited the downtown businesses. I mean, the more people you have, the more ideas you
It
get.
creates excitement.
It
and
does.
motivation.
It does. So.
Which is the theme of why we've been here today, is to talk about Main Street momentum, bringing the community together, supporting each other, helping business owners, growing events, and collaborating teamwork. So I would like to thank you all for being with us today. Thanks for taking the time and sitting down and sharing, what we're doing here in the city of Covington. We hope to bring in Clifton Forge. We'd like to give you guys the chance to come in and talk to us as well and tell us what you're doing and how we can help your success. Thanks everyone for joining us. That concludes today's episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.